Hello and welcome. Dear friends, this video is brought to you by Mahendraguru.com, the premise for success. In this video, we are going to discuss tips and tricks which is based on voice, means active and passive. So let's start. Voice. The very first question is, what is voice? The voice is that form of the verb, or you can say that that form of speech by which we come to know if the subject performs an action or the action is being performed on it. Accordingly, there are two voices. The one is active voice and the second is passive voice. Active voice and passive voice. The verb is said to be in the active voice if the subject performs the action. This is known as active voice. And the verb is said to be in the passive voice when something is done to the person denoted by the subject. This is known as passive voice. So, active and passive voice. Example number 1, Ram helps Hari. Example number 2, Hari is helped by Ram. These are two examples which are given here to understand the meaning of active and passive voice. These two sentences express the same meaning. But in sentence 1, the form of the verb shows that the person denoted by the subject does something. Ram does something. Ram helps. Ram does something. The verb helps is said to be in the active voice. Next, in sentence 2, as we are copying the same examples, in sentence 2, the form of the verb shows that something is done to the person denoted by the subject. Something is done to Hari. Hari is helped by Ram. Hari. Something is done to Hari. So the verb is said to be in the passive form. So this is the meaning of active and passive voice. Now, rules. Rules to change the sentence from active voice to passive voice. When the verb is changed from the active voice to the passive voice, the object of the transitive verb in the active voice becomes the subject of the verb in the passive voice. Just for example, Ram writes a letter. The sentence is given in the active voice. A letter is written by Ram. The sentence is given in passive voice. Now you just take a clear look of the sentence, the conversion of active voice to passive voice. In the active voice sentence, the subject is Ram. Ram is here. The subject of active voice changes into object of passive voice, and the object of active voice changes into the subject of passive voice. That's the reason behind this, that these arrows show such type of rule. Ram writes a letter. Verb fifth form. But in the passive voice, written is written. Written is the third form of the verb. You must remember one thing, that in the conversion of active voice, when we are converting the sentence which are given in the active voice into the passive voice, so the main verb of any form of the verb, it is given in the first form, second form or third form in the active voice. But if you are framing a sentence in the passive voice, you have to use only and only third form of the verb. This is the verb which is used in the passive form, which is always in third form of the verb. So this is the conversion. Now, since the object of the verb in the active voice becomes the subject of the passive voice, it follows that only transitive voice can be used in the passive voice, because an intransitive verb has no object. Because object is given here, that's the reason behind this, we are able to change the sentence into passive. Next, these are a very important and a short trick based rules On the basis of these rules, you can get a perfect command on the conversion, on the rules of conversion from active to passive. As we have already discussed the rule of tense, and these are the rules of tense given. Tense, simple present, present continuous, present perfect, simple past, past continuous, past perfect, simple future, and future perfect. Now, we are going to discuss tense-wise conversion of voice. The very first is simple present. Simple present active voice, the identification of the simple present is that we take verb, either main verb, mean to say that first form of the verb, or fifth form of the verb. It depends on the subject. It is the give, it is gives. According to the subject, it applies in the sentence give and give. Singular subject takes singular verb, plural subject takes plural verb. This is the identification of a tense sentence which is using the active voice. And when the sentence is used with such type of verb, then what should we have to do when we are going to convert the given sentence into the passive voice? These are the conversion that we have to use only and only third form of the verb in passive voice, as you are seeing there, given, 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 and so on. Where the main verb is required, we are only and only use here third form of the verb. That's the reason that this given is used. According to the tense, helping verb changes. According to the tense. Simple present, according to the subject, I, is, or are taken. Present continuous, the structure says am giving continuous, so ing form is used, it is necessary. So according to the subject, am, is, are, helping verb is decided. And if we are talking about the passive voice, so we have already discussed that in the passive voice only and only one verb, which is the third form of the verb. So given is required, given is here, and we are converting present continuous to the passive voice. So the helping verb which we are using in the active voice of present continuous, same we are using the helping verb in the passive voice, but with an additional word which is be. Which is be. So this is the conversion of present continuous active voice into passive voice. Next is present perfect. The structure of present perfect is that in the present perfect structure we have to work with third form of the verb, and third form of the verb always works with the helping verb, and this is the identification of present perfect, that we work helping verb has or have in the sentence of present perfect. So has given, have given is used in the active voice, and if we are going to convert the sentence from active voice to passive voice, third form is used, as you know, and the same helping verb is used, but just to make a difference we have to add one word which is been. Mean to say that has given is the structure of active voice, and has been given or have been given is the structure of passive voice. Next, simple past. Simple past is very simple, that second form of the verb is used in a sentence. This sentence is in simple past. Subject takes second form of the verb, either the subject is singular or plural. He, she, or they all works with give. Give is used in the active voice, and the sentence is framing in simple past, and when we are going to convert the sentence of simple past into the passive voice, then what should we have to do? The very important thing, that we have to work on and only single form of verb, which is third form of the verb. So third form of the verb is used here, given. The question is, what type of helping verb should be used in this sentence? So the sentence is simple past sentence. So we should use either was or were, depends on the subject of the sentence. If the subject of the sentence is singular, we should use was, and if it is plural, we should use were. So this is the structure. And past continuous, as we have already learned present continuous and past continuous, so there is no difference except their helping. Because in the present continuous, is, am, are the helping verbs. In the past continuous, was and were are the helping verbs in the active voice. So in the case of passive voice, here am giving changes into am being given. Same here, was giving changes into was being or being given. So this is a very simple rule. Now talk about the past perfect. We have already learned present perfect has and have helping verb is used, and in the past perfect had helping verb is used. In the perfect tense only and only third form is used, and in the passive voice third form is used. We have already discussed helping verb is used as a had, and in the case of passive voice if we use had, so how can we differentiate the active and passive? So this is the reason that we should use been here to make a difference, active voice, passive. So this is the conversion. Now the next rule is simple future and future perfect. Simple future says will give, shall give. It's a very simple rule. If we talk about the future tense, we use helping verb either will or shall. And in the simple future, this is a very simple sentence, will give or shall give. So in the case of conversion, the passive voice, given is used because third form of the verb is always used in the passive form. And what should we change in the helping verb? Because we already used will and shall in the active voice, so just to make a difference, it is necessary that we have to write will be or shall be. That's the reason behind this, that we are using passive voice with the help of will be and shall be. Next is future perfect. The structure of future perfect is will have and shall have. Have given, have given. Have is a helping verb which is used generally in the perfect. And we already discussed present perfect have. But if we take have given, so what is the difference between the present perfect and future perfect? Therefore, we should use will have and shall have. That's the reason. So, and third form of the given is, so in the case of conversion, we just have to make a difference. That's the reason behind this. Same helping were used here, but been is a word which make a clear difference between the active voice and the passive voice of the future perfect. So this is a beautiful chart and a short trick way that we get perfect command on the rules of the active voice and passive voice. Next is simple present. Now we are going to the structural based discussion on the basis of which we get perfect command on active passive voice. The simple present. The structure says subject, main verb first form, main verb fifth form plus object, and this structure of the passive voice, passive subject. The object of the active voice becomes a passive subject, and subject of the active voice becomes a passive object, and so on. The structure, on the basis of the structure of active voice and passive voice, we are discussing two examples. Example number one, Ram writes a letter. This is a sentence which is based on the active voice of the simple present. Ram writes a letter. Letter is used here as an object, and we are taking this object here as a passive subject. Therefore, a letter writes is used here, and we have to change the form into the third form of the verb. Written is used here. So a letter is written by Ram. So there, the subject which is in the active voice becomes the object in the passive voice, as we have already discussed. Next is present continuous. The structure of present continuous active voice sentence is subject plus ism or helping verb. Main verb fourth form is better known as ing form of the verb plus object. And if we talk about the passive voice of the present continuous, then its structure says that the object of the active voice becomes the subject of the passive voice here, and the subject of the active voice becomes the object of the passive voice. Third form of the main verb should be used, and the helping verb which are using in the present continuous active voice is mr, is using here is mr, but just to make a difference we have to use being. This is the identification that we are discussing about the passive structure of present continuous. If we don't use being here, so what is the difference between this type of passive and this type of passive? Because this is mr plus means the third form, and this is mr plus means the third form. That's the reason behind this, that it is necessary for all of us that we have to use being here to make a difference between simple present and passive continuous. So the structure is Ram is writing a letter. So passive voice will be a letter is written by. Next, present perfect. Present perfect, active voice and passive voice. The structure says present perfect, subject plus has have, which is used as a helping verb, and main verb third form of the verb object. Now in the structure of passive voice, passive subject has or have been plus main verb third form by plus passive object. Now the structure of active voice is Ram has written a letter. The letter is object of active voice. It becomes the subject of passive voice. A letter has written is used here. So what should we have to write down here? Has been written. This is the verb structure of passive voice, and the subject of the active voice becomes the object of the passive voice. So this is the rule. Next is simple past. Simple past, active voice structure says subject either singular or plural. We should work only and only second form of the verb plus object. And if we talk about the passive voice of the given sentence, so the object which is used in the active voice changes into the passive subject, and the subject which is used in the active voice changes into the passive object. And either the verb is given in any form, but if we talk about the passive voice, we use only and only third form of the verb. That's the reason behind this. And we are talking about the past tense, so it is necessary for all of us that we should take the helping verb which works in past form. There's the reason behind this. Was and were is used. Sentence is Ram wrote a letter. A letter becomes subject here. Letter is a singular subject. That's the reason behind this. Was is used, and helping verb was, and the main verb is written, third form of the verb, by Ram. The subject here becomes here. So this is the structure. Next, past continuous. Now we talk about the past continuous, as we have already learned present continuous. Past continuous structure says in active voice subject plus was verb is used as a helping verb, main verb fourth form or ing form is known as a main verb fourth form plus object. And the structure of the passive voice, passive subject, the object of active voice becomes the subject of passive voice, plus helping verb same, was verb, plus being should be used to make a difference, plus main verb third form by passive object. Now the sentence Ram was writing a letter. Ram was writing a letter is a sentence of past continuous active voice. And if we want to change into the passive voice, so the subject becomes the object, object becomes the subject, helping verb according to the subject, and being is used to make a difference, and third form of the verb should be used. So this is the structure which we have discussed. Now the past perfect active voice and passive voice. Active voice says subject plus had. Either the subject is singular or plural. Had is necessary to use as a helping verb in past perfect, and had is used in the helping verb, and past perfect third form of the verb is used here, and plus object. And if we talk about the structure of passive voice, passive subject which is the object of active voice, and the subject of active voice becomes the object of passive voice. And had been, here the helping verb is used is had. Had is used in the active voice of past perfect, and had been is a helping verb which is used in the passive voice of past perfect, and main verb third form should be used. So this is a structure. Example, you may get the full command on the basis of with the help of example. Ram had written a letter. A letter had been written by Ram. Ram had written a letter. Letter is the object. It should be necessary that we have to use the object of the active voice as the subject of the passive voice. Therefore, a letter had been written. So this is the structure which we have discussed. Now simple future. Simple future is very simple to learn. The active voice structure says subject works with shall or will plus first form of the verb plus object. And the structure of passive voice is passive subject plus shall be or will be, because shall and will is already used in the active voice, so we have to make a difference. Therefore it is necessary that we have to change the form of the verb, and therefore we should write shall be or will be plus third form of the verb, because in the passive voice main verb always works in third form of the verb by plus passive object. So example says Ram will write a letter. A letter will be written by Ram. This is the active structure, and this is the structure of passive voice. Now the next is future perfect. As we have already learned perfect tense, now we are talking about the future perfect. So there is a difference only on the basis of the helping verb. So the active voice sentence is subject. Subject plus shall have or will have. Shall have or will have is used as a helping verb, and plus third form, main verb third form plus object. And if we talk about the structure of the passive voice, passive subject which is used as the object of the active voice plus shall or will plus have been, because shall have will have already used here, we cannot use shall have will have again in the passive voice. So just to make a difference, it is necessary that we have to add something more. That's the reason behind this. Shall will plus have been is used here, plus third form of the verb plus object. When the structure says Ram will have written a letter, and the passive voice structure says a letter will have been written by Ram. So this is the tense based structure. Now, role of modal auxiliary in voice. This is very important rule because it is necessary to learn that how can we convert when a sentence is using a modal auxiliary in a sentence. So when a sentence is given with the modal auxiliary in active voice, how can we change into the passive voice? So just have a look. Active voice structure when we are using modal auxiliary in the sentence, subject plus modal auxiliary plus main verb first form, because in modal auxiliary, if a sentence is used with the modal auxiliary, first form of the verb is used. And if we want to change into passive voice, what should we do? Just have a look at the structure of passive voice. Passive subject plus modal auxiliary verb plus be plus third form of the verb plus by plus passive. Just have a look at the example. Ram can write a letter. Ram can write a letter. Can is used as a helping verb which is modal auxiliary, and where the can is used, we have to change into the passive voice. The can becomes can be, should becomes should be, may becomes may be, must become must be. That's the reason behind this. Only be is required here, modal auxiliary plus be, and third form is necessary in the case of passive voice. So the sentences say Sir Ram can write a letter can be written by Ram. Ram should write a letter should be written by Ram. So this is the structure of active and passive of modal auxiliary in voice. Next is passive voice sentences are not framed of the following tense. These are 1, 2, 3 and 4 tenses in the grammar that we don't use such type of tenses to make the passive voice, because no passive voice is framed using the following tense. So present perfect continuous, no passive. Past perfect continuous, no passive. Future perfect continuous, no passive. And future continuous, no passive. Next is, you all must know when to use the active voice and when to use the passive voice. The ability to change the active voice into passive voice is not sufficient. According to the modern usage, when the subject of active voice sentence is vague or looking vague, there is no need to make the object subject of active voice using by in the passive. Just have a look with the help of example. Active voice sentence is people will help me. So what should be the passive voice of the given sentence? I will be helped. People is used here as a subject, but there is no requirement to use people with the help of by as an object. Therefore it is written not by people. The sentence is completed here. I will be helped. Same here. Someone help me. In the passive voice, there is no need to use someone as an object. Therefore the structure says I will be helped, not by someone. By someone should not be used. By people should not be used. Only I will be helped is a complete sense. Next, people speak English all over the world. People is used as a subject, so there is no requirement to use the people as the object in the passive voice. So the sentence is English is spoken all over the world, not by people. Here, one, someone, nobody, people, somebody, no one, police, etc. are not used as passive object, but will use if the sentence gives incomplete sense. That's the reason behind this. We neglect these words to use as an object of the sentence. Next is, when verbs take both a direct and indirect object in the active voice are changed to the passive voice, either object may become the subject of the passive verb while the other is retained. Example says, the teacher will give you a pen. Will give you. You is indirect object. You is indirect object. You what? A pen. So pen is direct object. So on the basis of such type of example, when we are using both a direct and indirect object, so the conversion may be done by the help of this example. Passive voice 1. A pen will be given to you by the teacher, where direct object is used here. Second structure says you will be given a pen by the teacher. Here indirect object is used, and the rule says an indirect object represents the person to whom or for whom something is given or done, while a direct object usually represents a thing. It is probably more usual for passive constructions to begin with the person. So this is most useful example of the conversion of such type of active voice sentence. So this is the structure which we have discussed. Now next is active voice sentence, which is based on interrogative sentence. Yes, interrogative sentence which is given in the active voice, and it has been asking in examinations that how can we convert the passive voice of the given interrogative sentence. So to get the perfect command on this type of rule, you just follow the given steps. Step number 1, the sentences. What is the sentence? Sentence is an interrogative statement. Why are you revising your lessons? The sentence is in interrogative. So the step 1 is that you should remove WH word. First of all, you should remove WH word if it is given in WH word. So first of all, you should remove WH word in the sentence. The remaining sentence, are you revising your lessons? Are you revising your lessons? Still it is verb in interrogative statement. Now this is close-ended question, and now you have to change the given sentence into assertive or positive sentence. So the conversion, how can we convert it? By using the subject as the first word of the given sentence and helping verb after the subject. So you will get, you are revising your lessons. This is the step 2. You are revising the lesson. This is the step 2. Now this is an example. On the basis of such type of assertive example, we have learned the conversion of active voice into passive voice. So now step 3 says that change step 2 from active voice to passive. From active to passive. So statement, your lessons are being revised by you. You are revising your lessons. So the conversion, your lessons here is an object, so it becomes here as a subject. Are revising, work in present continuous. So we have to frame a sentence according to the rule of the passive voice of present continuous. So structure says are being should be used, revised, you are as a subject, it becomes object. So this is the conversion, but not the answer. This is not your answer, because the question based on the interrogative. Now after conversion, you change the given statement as the given steps. Step number 3, your lessons are being revised by you. Now use the given helping verb here to make the sentence interrogative. Are your lessons being revised by you? But in your question, WH word is given, which you have cut from the statement just for converging of the given statement into the passive voice. Now apply the given word. Why are your lessons being revised by you? So these are the steps by which you can easily convert interrogative statement from active voice to passive voice. So these are the steps which we have got. Now these are miscellaneous. Some examples which is very important for your examinations, because in SSC examinations, voice plays a very important and significant role, either both in pre-examination and main examination. In main examination, from 20 to 30 marks question based on voice. So it is necessary for all of us that we have to get perfect command on voice just by practicing more and more. So these are the examples. Active voice we should not encourage in discipline. So the sentence is in active voice. The passive voice should is used, which is model. So the conversion of model is possible on the basis of adding be with the model. So the conversion in discipline should not be encouraged by us. Next statement, active voice. Robin would draw a picture in the competition. So a picture would be drawn by Robin in the competition, because the picture here is the object. It becomes here subject, and Robin becomes your object in the competition. That sentence will be complete. Next, they have cut all the telephone wires. They have cut all the telephone wires. So all the telephone wires are the object of the active voice. It becomes the subject of passive voice. That's the reason all the telephone wires is written here, and wires is used. So have been cut. They have cut all the telephone wires, but by them is not using here because it is not necessary. It was like it's looking vague. It is not necessary. Therefore, by us is not using. Next step next question is, one must keep one's promises. So the passive voice is one's promises, which is the object of the active voice. It becomes the subject of the passive voice. One's promises. Must is used here, which is the model. So what is the rule of conversion when we are working on model? So in the passive voice, model works with be. So must be is used here, and keep is used, which is the first form of the verb. It should be written in the third form of the verb. So the conversion says one's promises must be kept. Next, this is last one. The doctor advised me to give up sweets. So the passive voice, I was advised, because me here used as an object, so it is necessary that we have to use the object of the active voice as the subject of the passive voice. So I was advised by the doctor, because the doctor here in the active voice, doctor works as a subject. It is necessary that we should use the doctor as the object of the passive voice. So I was advised by the doctor to keep up sweets. So these are the examples, miscellaneous examples, which is necessary for all of you to learn. So these are the very important rules on the basis of tips and tricks, which is necessary to learn, and keep learning via Mahendra Guru, www.mahendraguru.com. These are website. In the website, all the relevant content related to your study is daily updated, and don't forget to subscribe our channel www.youtube.com/c/Mahendra Guru videos. Using this link, you can get the videos which is important and necessary for qualifying your examinations, because your success is our success. Thank you very much.